Hi, everyone. Welcome to Relatively Sane. I am so excited to record the podcast today. Normally, I get excited, but I never get really excited about anything. So it's not like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I can't wait. Even if it's going to like the beach. Actually, I'm less excited when it's something exciting. I just am lazy. I don't care anymore. I actually went to my psychiatrist the other day and I'm like, I don't feel excited about anything. And he's like, is that a constant feeling? And I said, yeah, like I'm just always like, whatever. But I think that comes with age too. When I was younger, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go. I backpacked around Europe for 3 months when I was 21. And I wouldn't even backpack down the street now. I wouldn't even put a backpack on my back. That's how lazy I am. I backpacked all over. I went to Dachau, the concentration. I saw some really upbeat things when I was in Europe. I went to Dachau. I went to places where people were murdered. It was really eye-opening. I have to be honest, it was very eye-opening. I had a lot of crazy experiences when I backpacked at 21. I actually was with my first female lover. That makes me want to vomit, but that's true. I said backpack 46 times, and it makes me filled with self-hatred because I notice everything I do, and I keep saying that, and I just want to die right now. But we were in Amsterdam, and we were so fucked up. We drank and smoked pot, and we were fooling around in a hotel room. We were in a secret relationship, and a maid walked in. And when I say maid, she was white. So don't get upset by that word. And she's like, oh, I just sounded like an Asian person because I can't do a Dutch person. So feel like she's Dutch, but she was like, and she freaked out because she saw two naked 21-year-old girls. It was if a man walked in, it would be immediate excitement because we were both very attractive at the time. And she was 11. So it was really a sight to be seen. No, she wasn't 11. She was 18 and I was 21. But it was really crazy for me when she walked in. I'm going to keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again for 5 minutes, just so a lot of you turn off the podcast and don't listen to the rest of it. Because the truth is, I have a huge fear of success. So can everyone never listen to this podcast again? I'm just begging you to cancel me. If anyone brings up shit I've said, I'm not just going to get canceled. I will be arrested. I have said the most fucked up things on my on so many podcasts. So it's not going to even be. I'm not even afraid of being canceled. I'm afraid of being killed or put in jail. But more importantly, please follow me on social media at Jessica Kirson on Twitter, at Jessie Kirson on Instagram. Follow Relatively Sane. The most important thing is that you tell your friends and family. Don't tell the old people. They don't even know what a podcast. What the hell is a podcast? Where do I find that? Is it like an 8-track? Do I plug it into my outlet? Maybe the aide can help me. The aide does everything. I make her do everything for me, even though I pay her $11 an hour. I make her do everything in my house because God forbid she should take a breath and relax. She works for me. She's my aide. That would be horrible if someone had AIDS and kept calling their aide. I have AIDS, so I have an aide. It aids me with my AIDS. Now I'll get a letter from someone that says that they know someone who passed away from AIDS and I'm a horrible person. Listen, don't even write me letters because they don't go to me. They go to my management, so I don't even fucking see them if they're hostile. If you want to book me for a JCC or a living room or a funeral, you can email me and it'll go to me. But if you're going to go, I feel triggered by what you said in your podcast and it just really brings up stuff, it's not going to go to me. It's going to go to Jim, Serpico, and Brandon. It's not going to go to me. Okay. So I'm going to bring my guest. And also, by the way, I just want to say I have a Patreon account. That's very important. I have a Patreon account. Just patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. People are making some big donations, which is very helpful because I go to therapy twice a week. I have 86 kids and I'm incredibly sad. So the more money you can give me, the better. I don't make shit from anything I've done online, and I've done a lot of fucking work. So support me, please. Please. Especially the Jews out there. Go on Patreon. We have to stick together. It's not looking good. All right, I'm going to bring my guest into this conversation who's been sitting across from me laughing the whole time because we have so much in common and we have such a connection, and I love this man. He is so brilliant. He is such a brilliant comic, such a brilliant host at the Comedy Cellar and all over, and he just has it all when it comes to being an artist. He really does. I love him dearly. Everyone, welcome Jon Laster. Let me do the clapping. This sounds so bad.
I'm happy to be here.
Jon, I'm sorry I had to do that whole intro, but I knew if you were sitting across from me, it would help me because sometimes I don't know what to talk about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Doing monologues by yourself is horrible.
It's the worst.
It's just a tree falling in the woods. You know what I mean?
And I repeat myself a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I talk as if I'm asking them, like they're listening, and I'm asking them questions. Like, you guys know what I mean? And then there's just silence.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I love you so much. I really do. I don't love everyone, and I
love you so much. And I'm honored to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. Why do you think we connect, or do you connect with a lot of people?
No.
Really?
No. Seemingly so, but I don't. Yeah. I don't think I'm very much of a people person. I don't think you are either.
I'm not, but I seem like I am, and you seem like you are.
Well, I'm cordial, but I don't think that I'm a people person. I also think that we also have the bond of having real stories. We've been through a lot. Mm-hmm. Our people have been through a lot. We're also closers who don't have closer accolades. So
That's true.
We've had the misfortune of watching the unhilarious, good-haired white guy get shit that we should have got 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, the bald guys don't get it,
but the ones with good hair get a lot.
Yeah, and they're not funny. No one's ever going to remember these people. But we've had to watch them get the jump on us for a decade, So I think that we have some of that inner boil underneath us. Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing this?
16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where did you start?
17 years. Hood circuit. I started on the hood circuit.
What was that like? Because people, we haven't talked about that on the podcast. It's interesting.
The hood circuit, a.k.a. the Chitlin circuit, is much more of a meritocracy than, when you get to the mainstream rooms, there's a lot of politics. So it's the managers, the gatekeepers. The hood circuit is, do you have the goods? Are you funny? Period.
I've done them. Yeah.
Black people don't give a rat's
ass. I know.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If you funny, they like, yo, we'll drive you home and make you chicken. If you ain't funny, get your ass out of here because I spent $10 to get in here and I only brought 19, motherfucker.
I only brought 19.
I brought $19 and you wasted 10 of them. So
what kind of places? Would it be in bars mostly and clubs?
Yeah, mostly bar shows.
Yeah,
primarily. After work, a lot of after work shows I did. But I did my training on the hood circuit,
which is a good place to get training because it's so tough.
Absolutely. I mean, if you can rip a hood room, there's nothing you can't rip. Mm-hmm. And I used to watch Berg come through there. Obviously I been doing comedy for days back when he would even.
I remember when he did those rooms.
He would murder. You know who else would murder?
Who?
Dan Natterman.
Oh,
would
boy.
Come through
really?
And kill.
Which is interesting because if you don't know who he is, he's low key a very good joke writer. He's very Jewish.
Stereotypical little Jewish guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
guys think of a stereotypical little Jewish kind of windy voice guy,
Yeah.
it's Dan Natterman.
Yeah, he's the opposite of a Nazi.
Yeah.
You would put him on one side and put a Nazi on the other.
Exactly. But he would come through and he never tried to pander to black people because they hate that shit. He fucking used to kill.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But so I had a little bar show, and then eventually got good. And then once you become the king of the hood, you can stay there and pat yourself on the back or move on.
So what made you start comedy?
I didn't want to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Anything to not get up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that depression or just like you just didn't want to?
I just wasn't a morning person, So then I had a talk show in college, and I wanted to be a talk show host. Everybody.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, everybody that I talked to when I was asked about it, when I was about to move on, I had the president of our university. I'm sitting with him, we're talking. He says, "Yo, who do you like on TV? Who do you like in the movies?" And then when we were done talking, he said, 100% of the people that you named were all stand-up comedians first.
Oh, that's interesting.
Every single person you named, he said, all of them, only thing in common with all the people that you like, they all started as stand-up comedians. And my sister had a couch in New York, so.
Where did you grow up?
Denver.
Oh, I completely forgot that.
Denver, Colorado.
That must have been interesting. Was it very white?
Oh, my God, yeah, but it's not the way that people think it is. I didn't grow up in the part of Denver that was on the brochure, so... You know what I mean?
No, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
You weren't in the Rocky Mountains with like hippies.
No, but you know what? Whoever does the PR for Denver, God bless them, because that's what you would think is out there.
Oh, sure.
But I grew up in the Crip Blood era, so it was drive-bys, shootings,
in
killings.
Denver?
In Denver, Colorado. DJ Quick made a song called Just Like Compton. But in the song, the last verse is he's like, Denver is just like Compton. Like he said, the verse is, I thought it was going to be these white people out there. And then I got out here like, what the fuck is going on?
See, this is something I didn't know, that you grew up in that kind of area.
Kansas City, Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, some of these places that you wouldn't suspect are some of the worst places. So yeah, that's where I grew up. But like I said, everybody thought that Denver. So it was, but I was a ball player, so I never had to actually shoot anybody or kill anybody myself.
Yeah, I did at Temple one day. A girl,
killed her.
Jody Stern, spoke up during.
Rest
we
in
were
peace,
watching
Jody.
Yentl, the whole class, and she was like, "I don't like this movie," so I shot her. And
now she's dead.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. Her parents didn't like her. So, okay. So, did you grow up with siblings?
Yes, a brother and a sister.
Where are you in the order?
I'm in the middle.
Oh, okay.
The one star for attention.
No, I know. Well, I've always been like that too.
Yeah.
Where are your brother and sister now?
My sister's in Harlem. My brother is in Denver.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So 2 of you are here and 1 stayed there.
Yeah, my brother actually, he's in Colorado. He loves it. It's nice out there though.
It is. Yeah. It is nice. Is it the same, like where you grew up? Is it the same energy now?
No.
Or has the place changed?
Oh God.
It's all white people now?
All white people.
Yeah, they come right in.
Oh, they really.
Well,
you know what's funny? They bulldozed my neighborhood.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah, Denver was like, let's pretend this shit didn't happen.
Right.
We'll just act like this didn't happen. Yeah, they bulldozed it.
So now it looks completely different?
It's unrecognizable. It's condos.
Oh, I know. That's exactly what happens everywhere.
It's condos. Because we live close to downtown, and they were like, you niggas got to get out of here. So they bulldozed it, and now it's white women in condos.
Yeah.
Right by downtown, because it was really, they said it was, what do they call it? Public domain. So they were going to build a trolley. But where we live was probably half a mile. They just wanted us out. So they just
of course they did. Yeah.
Shut down all the projects, all the everything down there, and it's condos now.
Yeah. So did you feel safe growing up in that area? Like would you feel scared a lot?
Yeah, I had a barrier around me a little bit, because I was when you're the hood athlete, it would be costly to your neighborhood to put your hands on me. I had police escorts. We used to play this team called Montbello, and they swore when he comes out here, we gonna fuck him up. But I remember walking out of the gym, and they had lined the hallway was from this wall to that wall to get into the gym, but there were police. I walked through the cops.
Wow.
To get into the gym.
So you were the star basketball player.
So there was a danger. If something would have happened to me,
good, yeah.
Your shit would probably get shot up for days.
Yeah.
So I had.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
It was what it was back then.
No, but I so get what you're saying because I grew up with that too.
Like this guy's got
a
chance to get out of here.
Yeah.
Don't. I remember this guy pulled a gun on me one day. I was on the court and my boy's standing there and he said, "Yo, you don't see him standing here?" You know, so basically they were like, just come back. We can deal with this later. The dude's got a gun out the back of his Hyundai. So my boy runs, Day runs and jumps on top of the Hyundai. He's on top of this car. The guy starts shooting through the roof of the car.
Are you kidding me?
No. Hell no. So they peel out of this basketball court we're on. They drive up to this Safeway parking lot. Day finally flies off the top of the goddamn car. He's been on top of the car for like a block or two. As they shoot through the roof, nicked his,
As they shoot through the roof.
They nicked his hand, the side of his hand. Yeah, but the part of the anger was, not now. You see him standing here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I can really relate to that.
Yeah, so I had that little bubble around me, but I was still scared.
What did your parents do when you were growing up?
My mom worked at a bank. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad lived here. I never really knew what he did. He died of cancer recently. Somebody asked me in one of those Instagram stories, "Do you look like your dad?" I was like, "He's dead. I hope not." I hope I don't look like I died of cancer.
Am I bloated with a rosary in my hands?
Is there dirt on my face?
I was next to a dead person the other day. That sounds so crazy. I went to a wake, but you see, Jews, we don't do that. So it's very unfamiliar to me. You don't show the body in the Jewish religion. So I was like, just standing next to him and I was sneezing. I'm like, this feels very uncomfortable.
Jewish people are ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that you should. I was making a joke about that at the club the other night about the Qasim guy, the Soleimani guy who got shot. And they were, and somewhere in Iran, there was kind of like a makeshift ceremony, and I saw someone carrying a casket. I was like, he got hit by a missile. There's nothing in that casket.
Well, there were a lot of people carrying the casket. Yeah, I don't know what was in there. Maybe a thumb. What was in there? A rock and a kneecap.
What is left after you get hit by a missile? What was in there? Some smoke? Are you serious? This guy got turned into a cigarette butt. What are we talking about here, people?
A cigarette butt.
What are we doing? There's nothing in there. I promise there's nothing in there. You can open that casket as wide as you want.
That is, and people got killed trampling with the casket.
Right.
Yeah, there could have been a newspaper in there. It probably wasn't even related to him.
Nothing.
They were probably transporting a goat.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're going to get in trouble.
I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Oh.
I really don't.
Come on, man.
Thank God. So that's hysterical. So how did your father just pass?
Probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We weren't that close. I don't know what it was about my dad that he didn't connect with me at all. And it's crazy because me, my brother, my sister are all a year apart. Mm-hmm. And he came to my brother's high school graduation and my sister's, and both of their college graduations never showed up at mine.
I'm curious about that because you were the star athlete. It's interesting to me because he's a man and it's his son who's an athlete.
Yeah.
So I wonder, did you ever have a falling out with him, or did you remind him of your mother? What do you think it was?
No idea. And I tried to figure out what it was. In the last 2 years, I would go upstate and hang out with him a little more. Maybe we would have that moment.
I know.
Where he was like, "Hey, man, let me tell you what's really going on." He never did. But when he died, I was totally comfortable because I knew I had tried everything I could to try to connect with this.
I know.
I left it all out there.
As long as you feel like you did what you could, I've been there.
Zero regrets.
When my stepfather passed a year ago, I did have a moment with him where I said, I'm sorry for anything I've done to upset you. I know I pushed you away a lot, and I appreciate you so much. Like, I felt so complete after that 5-minute conversation. We both cried.
Yeah.
And I was okay.
Yeah.
And my dad, it's not the same. It's tough.
Yeah.
He won't do that with me, like sit and have a whole.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Me and my dad never had the cry moment. Never.
Yeah. Did your parents stay married?
No.
Yeah.
They got divorced when we were 5. That's how we got to Denver.
Oh,
My mom
okay.
packed up and was like, and my aunt was getting divorced at the same time. She was like, so the two of them were like, we're leaving our husbands, and they moved to Denver.
What made them move to Denver?
I think my aunt had a great gig
Uh-huh.
because she was super brilliant. She was a psychoanalyst.
Wow.
And I think she was the only black woman who had ever become a psychoanalyst in America at the time.
That's unbelievable.
She was at school forever, but she was really, really bright. But she got a great gig. So she was like, hey, move to Denver. You guys
That's so interesting. Yeah.
stay in the house with me until you find something out there. So my mom was like, let's do it. And that's how we ended up in Denver.
Oh, that's so cool. So where did your dad?
He stayed here. Him and his family are upstate.
Did he ever have other kids?
No, neither did my mom.
Yeah,
No.
mine did. I mean, my mom, I had steps, and my dad ended up having 2 kids with his second wife.
Yeah, neither of them did.
Okay, so when you were an athlete, went to what college?
Minnesota.
I like Minnesota.
It's freezing cold.
I know, but it's good for me because I want to cover up. I'd rather
Goodness.
be there than very hot, muggy
Miami.
weather. Yeah, forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have taken online classes. I don't want to be out
Yeah.
in a 2-piece.
Minnesota's, it's
I know.
a different kind of cold. But it was a good time. College was a big party, man.
I know. I
Big
think we've
party.
talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
You and I went crazy.
College basketball player, it's a good life.
Oh, that must have been. You must have been getting laid every day.
Drowned in pussy.
Jesus.
Almost
Christ. I should
drowned.
have become a basketball star.
Almost drowned in it.
You did?
Almost.
Do you remember, like, did you have a type or you just, you
Uh,
could get whatever you wanted?
my type has always varied.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my type is tonight.
Yeah.
I have a tonight type.
Me?
What you doing
I'm
tonight?
joking. That's hilarious. What you doing
What's
tonight?
me? See how my swagger works? Once I say,
John, I love it. I've seen your swagger, and you are. Let me tell you something. You have swagger because I pick up on it. You're not. Excuse me. You're not gross about it at all. In
No need
fact,
to
you're
be.
very just real and confident, and someone wouldn't even know you were having the swagger, which is really good.
which is really good.
Yeah.
Hidden swagger.
Yeah, Hagger.
Hagger. That should be a deodorant. Hidden swagger. Hagger. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my Hagger, and I feel really, really good about myself tonight.
Got my Are you wearing Hagger?
I smell Hagger. Oh, let's see each other again.
Must be that guy.
Okay, so you went to college, you played basketball, and then what happened? Did you want to go pro, or were you going to go pro?
absolutely, absolutely. But as you realize that it's not going to work out, you come up with something else, and that's when I came up with the talk show, and then eventually was like, you know what? I'll jump into this. I'll try the comedy thing. But as I was approaching my senior year in high school, I was getting good enough that people were like, this guy's probably going to end up in the NBA. So there were the powers that be in Denver were like, you should probably move to New York. It'll make your path to the NBA easier. You'll be playing against better competition. It'll get you to a better college, which will be a faster track to the NBA. And I was like, I'm not leaving my mom because my mom is my everything. Not doing that. Yeah. But with that being said, when it came time to do comedy in Denver, I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. So I was like, I'm going to go to New York this time. I'm not going to try to be the big fish in the little pond again in Denver with the comedy. So as soon as college was over, bags were packed, and I took off from my sister's couch to start being stared at on stage for free.
I know. Was it very hard for you to, I would assume, to stop playing?
It was horrible.
Horrible.
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, when you are this close.
I know.
And I was way more athletic, not way more, but I was more athletic than some of my friends who did go to the NBA. And my college coach at Colorado State, we just despised each other. But I still had a skill set. One of my teammates wrote his senior speech about me, that this guy is better than most people, than some of our friends who are going to the NBA. Him and the coach just don't get along, so no one's ever seen him. Me and the coach hated one another. But, then to see your friends 6 months later, 9 months later, you know what I mean?
Well, now it's like you're
Bentleys.
reliving. Yeah, that's hard. You've been through it twice in your life.
Yes.
Not that it's not going to happen huge,
Right.
but I'm saying it's been two situations where you're frustrated that people who you don't feel have earned it or deserve it are moving forward, moving, faster than you.
Right. The flip side, though, this time is, one, my brother said to me a few years ago, he said, man, the flip side of that is, how many people get two chances at $100 million? So you're in a really good place. And the other thing is, I learned from my basketball experience that the frustration, I hated him so much that I let that end my career. Whereas now I don't have to be that frustrated.
Yes.
You can just keep chugging along. It's going to break our way.
Yeah, no, I know that for
This
you.
isn't like-
I know for certain people and other people I know they'll never ever break.
Unlike basketball, where there's a physical time limit,
Yes.
we're not under that gun anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When did you start, because you and I struggle with the same demons, but when did you start, you think, like partying more with drinking and drugs? Are you laughing because you're...
You call it partying?
Well, I have to lighten it in the beginning.
I call it detox. When did you first go to detox?
John, we both have that's part of why we bond too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But did you, I know you probably, like me, I don't know, but in high school I drank a lot, and that's when I really started getting wasted, and I smoked a lot of pot, and I started doing other drugs.
Yeah.
And then in college it increased, and then in my 20s it was like insane.
I think college was blackout drunk. Comedy, definitely blackout drunk. And then, so my best friend here in New York was a strip club DJ.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah. So he's buying the coke. He's not
What's
true.
his name? No, I'm joking.
You might know him. He's making the phone calls from the DJ booth for the girls every night. And then it dawns on him one night, and actually we were roommates at the time, he's sleeping on my couch building his business. It was all good. And it dawns on him one night, why don't I just buy the weight and stop making these phone calls? So now he starts selling coke.
Right, that's a big problem.
So imagine if your best friend sells coke, and this is when I'm partying. So I was hosting 4 bar shows. He was hosting 4 strip clubs. So every night it was like, hey, I got these girls from the show, or he'd be calling me like, hey, this girl wants to meet you at the club. And it was just a hamster wheel. And then he's got free coke.
This sounds like heaven.
It was a hamster wheel of debauchery. So that's,
it's not heaven, it's hell at a certain. It's not fun after a while.
It was good until it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. For a while, it's great.
Yeah.
And then, woof.
Yeah.
Then you have to do it.
Yeah. And then we looked up and things started crumbling. Yeah. So the relationships started unraveling. It was tougher to get to work. You know what I mean? If I made $100, I would say on average I got home with 7. And then pretty soon, you find yourself just crying for no reason. Like, why am I crying? You know what I mean? Just in the middle of the day.
I was getting lap dances and just snorting cocaine, everything. And now I'm just in a fetal position.
And then, you start getting text messages. I remember one time, I swear to God, I got these text messages that said, I woke up in the morning and I rolled over picked up my phone and said, "Hey, we're praying for you." And
That's incredible.
It was from a comedian in St. Louis.
Oh. Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
All right, hold up. Could you take a little off the P's? You're hitting them too hard. Not action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
Hold on. Now you're whispering Patreon. Is there a reason you're whispering?
Well, you said to take the
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You ready? Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon member.
Now you got to pause.
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members, is that okay?
It was perfect. Why'd you stop?
Oh, okay. Patreon members.
Cut. Let's go back to the beginning.
Thank you
And action.
Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting the podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about...
All right, let's take it back to the beginning. That was perfect. Do it exactly like that.
I just did it well, though,
Except
but why are you
finish it this
starting
time.
over? Thank you so much to all of my patron...
Cut. Why are you screaming?
Because I'm just trying to get through this.
Action.
Thank you so much to all of
Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast.
Perfect. Keep going.
There's so many P's.
Keep going.
Ad-free episodes.
You could cut this out, right?
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about being relatively sane.
Hold up. Did we agree on monthly live streams?
Yes, you told me I should do them because it'll get more members.
I don't know how to do a monthly live stream.
Don't you just talk in your phone?
We'll figure it out. Come on, let's get through this. We have to go. We should speed this up.
All right. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting this podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams. We don't know what that is, but whatever, where we talk about being relatively sane. If you want to join our fantastic community that is so corny, go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's Patreon.
I think you said patriot.com.
Go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Thanks again.
And cut. That's a wrap.
Ugh.
The following text message said, "John, hang in there." It's from Houston.
Bad. Whoa.
Turns out, right, that I was on stage and I just started bawling. I still don't remember.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
I still don't remember. Somebody records it. It goes up on Twitter.
John.
Yes, I just started bawling on stage.
What were you saying?
I love you guys.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Apparently, I was saying, I love you guys. And you know what's even more ridiculous? I asked him to send me what he saw. He said he was so hurt, he deleted it. I still haven't seen it. He said he was so worried, so distraught, he didn't want it moving around anymore. He was like, we wanted this kicked out of the ecosystem. I still haven't seen it to this day. But I get all these text messages. But that's when the debauchery hamster wheel turned into me up at late at night crying over puppy commercials.
Yeah.
The Laura McLaughlin.
You're all congested. You're like,
oh my goodness. Yeah.
So did you always feel like an addict? Like growing up, did you feel different?
I always felt out of place. You know, the crazy thing about me was I was on the opposite end of the spectrum of what people think of when they feel the person who they felt like was alone. Because when you think alone, you think the nerdy guy in school that's about to shoot the school up. You know what I mean? That doesn't really have any friends. I was the prom king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Living in the hood, these motherfuckers are shooting, stabbing, and I felt out of place. Like, when can I get the fuck out of here?
Yeah.
Before something happens to me, or I have to do something that's gonna fuck everything up. You know, and then you get to just missing the NBA, and it was like, oh, now I gotta start over. I gotta go to New York. And you go from on campus being the captain of the, even the coach hated me. The players voted for the captain. They were like, he's still the best player, even though you're fucking him. So they still voted me captain. I was still captain of the basketball team my side bitch was better than everybody else's main chick on campus. And then you come to New York where no one knows who the fuck you are or cares. And people staring at you every night. So that was a shell shock.
Huge hit on your ego.
Oh yeah. And then you watch the nonsense that goes on in comedy, and it was after it was a good time, it became a nonstop pity party.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pour me a drink.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really true.
Yeah. And then luckily one night I go on stage, and I do remember this. I said on stage, right, I was like, I said, I think I need help. 10 people surround me after I come off stage and say, hey, we know where you can get help. And of course, I was like, I was just kidding. You know, it was a joke. And they were like, no, not a joke. Time to
10 comics, or were they audience
member?
No,
just people.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
One of the guys was the guy who owned the place. He used to be a correction officer, so he knew people in treatment. And, you know, they in those circles, and he was like, "I can take you tomorrow. We got to end this show." And I was like, "Man, you're gonna lose tons of money." He was like, "It's time."
Wow, it's when
over.
you reach out and ask for help, it'll come to you. It's just so hard to do that.
Oh, so hard.
And the problem is you don't want to hit such a bottom where you lose everything.
Oh, I was living in an abandoned
building. Or you die,
building.
right. You were at that point?
I was living in an abandoned building. Yeah.
What was your drug of choice at that time? Like what?
Always alcohol.
Oh, wow.
I would go to after hours with my friend, and because sometimes after hours, you know, they're going to buy shit. You know, it's not like they have a legal bar there. But if they were out of alcohol, it was a deal breaker. If they were out of Coke, it was a deal breaker for my friend. But only alcohol would be a deal breaker for me, where I would be like, I got to get out of here.
So you felt like you were just drinking all day, every day at the end?
No, you know what? I would still try to wait until I got off stage.
Yeah,
so then I would drink from 10 to 11 till 10 in the morning, 11 the next day, and then try to shut it down. I would basically just go to sleep and then go get on stage and then drink for the next 12 hours.
What does it manifest itself like me in other ways when you're not drinking? Can you get, because for me, like there's been times I've talked about this on the podcast where I won't be drinking or doing drugs, but I'm like, oh, I'm in Vegas, I'm going to go to the casino and try to win some, like it'll start manifesting in other ways where I'm trying to like fill that hole.
No.
Which is good that you don't do that, because some people do and some people don't.
Luckily, yeah. If I am not under the influence and thinking about jumping in front of trains or trying to kill myself by overdosing, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Once the shit is out of my system, like even when I was in detox and rehab, and I was so suicidal on the way. I'm talking about gripping the those brown wooden things.
Yeah, what a horrible feeling.
And I would be sweating bullets. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm going to jump.
When you're detoxing?
Well, detoxing was even worse. I'm just talking about the suicidal shit that I was dealing with before going into rehab. And I really would cry watching those puppy, the somebody's got to get these dogs commercials in the middle of the night. But I noticed when I got into detox, I didn't give a fuck about those dogs. I was like, what was I thinking?
Well, you were probably just feeling very sad and emotional and scared, and
alcohol's a depressant.
I know.
After you do it every day for years.
Plus, you have a very good grounding in you. I don't know if it's your mom or whatever it is, but you are very grounded and very sane in so many ways. So it's like you probably come alive and you're saying, what the fuck was wrong with me? Like, that is not who I am. Right. You become another person.
You know what's crazy? It's funny that you mentioned that. I had a co-host.
Yeah.
And I went to apologize to him one time. I was like, I know when I was getting fucked up, I was a horrible person. And I know I have exes and women that I've dated that are like, yes, you're a nightmare of a human being. But I went to apologize to him, and he said, you can't apologize for that person.
I know. It's a different person.
You're not the same.
Yeah.
You're not even Jon Laster. He said they should change the name on your ID when you drink and drug like that for days. Yeah. You're just a whole different person.
You don't care about anything but that.
It's the most maniacally selfish shit.
Yep. It's the second I'd wake up, that's all I thought about.
Yeah.
Was when I was going to get something. What as soon, the sooner I could do it, the better.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like without it, like you are depressed and anxious? Do you feel? I mean,
No.
how do you deal with your feelings now? Do you get help? Do you go to therapy? Like, what do you do to feel? Do you exercise? Like, what's your thing? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that helps them a lot.
I run now probably 5 miles, 6 miles, 4 days a week.
That's great.
Yeah. So partially exercise, but you know what? Partially now from work because I write a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I'm working on a film, and some of it comes out in that. I think it also comes out on stage.
I know.
In
Me
weird
too.
ways, mostly at open mics because I'm hosting at the Cellar, so you can't really work on you. You know what I mean? It's a different.
That's the problem. We talked about it. When you're an amazing host, you're fucked because that's all. The clubs would only use me to host for years.
Gift and the curse.
I know.
Gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like, I've talked to so many comics where they'll do a thing where they do meditation now or breathing stuff.
I meditate.
You do?
Yeah. I'm super spiritual, so that's probably where it is now.
Well, that's a huge thing.
Oh yeah, I'm super spiritual.
Do you do it for like 20 minutes at a time or an hour?
15.
Do you use an app?
No, I don't do guided meditation.
Because a lot of people that listen to this, just so you know, are completely miserable.
Oh, really?
Well, no, I'm being, but there's a lot of people who really relate because they deal with depression and anxiety. A lot of people, that are fans of this podcast.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, what do you do? Because people will email me and be like, oh, that person's idea really helped me or this or that. So how do you meditate?
I sit by myself. I have a Buddha that I sit opposite, but I meditate for like 15 minutes in the morning. You know what else I found, and I hope this helps someone, is it changes. I try to do two things in the morning. First thing is before I let my feet touch the floor, what am I grateful for? Because
that's huge.
No matter where we are, and you can attest to this, I'm sure you experienced this because you just taped a special recently. It's sometimes, and this is, I'll keep it on myself. I can aspire to have something, no matter what it is. Let's say it's getting in the cellar. But the next day, I'm already upset about what I don't have. I never really take the time, you know what I mean? To just say, hey, God, I to bask in. I shot a film 2 years ago, and I remember this girl. She was new to the film, too. So it was both of our first features. And so we're riding the train home. She's a newer actress. And she said, can you believe that we just did our first film? And I was like, no. And we're sitting there, we're giddy. So she leans over on the Long Island Railroad and shows me this video of her jumping around, screaming, like yelling in her trailer. And me, I was in my trailer texting, trying to find the next film.
I'm exactly like that. Most comics are.
Right. And if we were her and just basked in it, that's so much time you wouldn't be stressed out about the next thing.
Well, you're talking about being in the present. This is literally what it is. If you're in the present and you're grateful and you're really in it at what's happening at the moment, you're not going to think about the past or the future. You can't think about the past or the future if you're in the moment.
They said the conscious brain can't hold two thoughts at the same time. So every moment that you're grateful for right now, you're not stressed about the next moment. You know what the second thing that I do? I ask myself every morning that helps me a great deal is how can I help someone else?
Well, it's huge.
What can I do to help somebody else?
And not to get something in return.
Oh, no.
No, because a lot of people think that. No, they do that.
I always try to help somebody that couldn't give me anything in return if they wanted to. You know what I mean? It's not about that. But the thought of that and how I can help them gets me out of my shit, and it helps the trajectory of my day every day.
By the way, that for everyone listening, what Jon just said is so important because I've had people say to me, ask someone if you can carry their bags. I mean, as simple as just helping someone on the street has literally made my day sometimes. Oh. I know it sounds weird to people, but it works. So if you try it, What are some things you would do to help people? Is it stuff like that? Or just say good morning to someone or smile? It doesn't even matter.
I try to always call people that were in the position that I was when I was crying over those commercials. And there's people that we know that are in rocky shape. So sometimes I'll hit them up. Sometimes I'll say, hey, you want to get up and go eat, whatever. Sometimes I know where there's a homeless person that sits in the same place every day, long as they don't ask me to stop. You know what I mean? Like, hey, can I talk to you? Motherfucker, don't you see me walking? Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't
I don't want to listen
me,
to you, but I'll take you to a shelter. I'm not going to fucking have a whole conversation.
Right. I got shit to do.
I was a young man in Georgia. My mother used to tell me that I was.
Yeah. Sometimes I always try to give them, like if somebody asks me for $1, like sometimes I try to give them enough money that their weekend is good.
Really?
Yeah. So sometimes like I'll just drop a 50 on them.
Well, so you don't think they're gonna? Well, weekend is good.
I don't
you mean
give a
like
shit what they do with
tripping on it. Like I think
that's none of my business.
I understand.
That's giving with that I want to judge what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just try to give unconditionally.
I do give too. I do give to people. I especially give to women because I can't imagine what they're going through on the street.
That's got to be horrendous.
It's horrible for me to see a homeless. I know. Can you imagine?
I cannot.
What they, as a drug addict or a mentally ill person, what they have to do?
Cannot.
Oh, that's what makes me grateful when I see stuff like that. And
I
also
try to give them enough money where they get up and leave.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
that's
you'll give them enough
money
to like roll up their stuff and go to Cheesecake Factory?
Is that where they're going? Is that a homeless hit? Cheesecake Factory.
I just brought that up because I was going to go yesterday and I didn't. I'm very upset about it.
If you ever see
they give you binge salads.
If you ever see a crew of homeless people, you know I just hit them. They just sitting there with their homies. It's like 6 of them. Hey, y'all, come on.
Yeah, they're at the steakhouse.
They're at the steakhouse.
Hey, can I get the T-bone and the side of sauteed mushrooms?
Oh, John.
I'm sitting in my urine, but I want cream spinach. All right, that was not. Well, it's the truth, so I don't care if people get upset. They do. They do have that problem. Yeah, I understand, and I agree with you. I would say the exact same thing you are, to meditate, which I have a very hard time doing, but I haven't tried enough, to be grateful, which I do constantly. I have to, or else I'm not going to be okay. I have to stay grateful for what I have because, I mean, we could start going through this. It's bad. Even though I have this, it's going to end. What am I going to have in May, June?
Right.
July's dead. I can't.
Right.
It's just a spiral.
And it's a non-ending. You could do that all day.
I know.
I mean? Or you could say, hey, I remember when I wanted. I can't believe I have that. It feels so good. Imagine how good it's going to feel to get da-da-da. And you could stay in that space too, and that's where I try to stay. I'm so grateful for it. And I don't mean that you have to be like, I'm grateful that I have a Comedy Central special. You could be like, I'm grateful that I got to the bottom of the steps and the train was there. I try to, know what I mean?
I don't do the big careers. I do the grateful that, the people in my family are healthy for the most part and that I don't have a problem physically, like I'm not sick. And it's weird. I was sick that's why I'm still coughing a little. I was sick for a couple of weeks and I really did not feel well. And I was thinking, boy, I am so ungrateful when I do feel well. Like, this is a horrible feeling.
And there are people that are constantly sick.
I know.
So we have a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So what's your goal now? Like in life and career-wise? Do you want to get married and settle down?
Oh, I would love to. I think that a part of having such a, what's the word that I'm looking for so it doesn't sound so crazy? I don't know, like being so spoiled when it came to, women in relationships. I think that's hurting me now.
Of course it is.
Do you know what I mean? I think that that's coming back to haunt me, that I've just had it my way for so long that it's like, oh, shit. You almost are looking for this perfect person, which isn't out there because I'm so imperfect. You know?
Yeah, it really is. If the pros outweigh the cons, it's a good situation. And as long, in my opinion, as long as someone is kind to you and works on themselves, there's a great chance it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But if they're always right,
my selfishness flares up though.
Mine does too.
And then and ruins relationships with good people. I'll do some solo selfish flare up, and then they're like, oh, "You fucking asshole."
Yeah.
I give you everything, and that wasn't enough still.
Well, it's hard to be with the people that give you everything because there's probably part of you that feels like you don't deserve it, or that it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For me, it was always more comfortable to be with someone who didn't treat me great because I was like, this is what I deserve.
Right.
And it's more familiar.
Right. It's true. I think also, I mean, to that exact point, whenever I see people, I always think that the person, whoever it is that they're with, that's how you truly see yourself. Mm-hmm. Not what you tell other people, or this image that you try to project, but the way that you see yourself deep down will be reflected in your partner.
I completely understand that.
Yeah. You see these horrible fucking looking guys with these hot chicks. Those guys truly believe they're the shit.
Oh, I know. I don't know if you knew my old character, Confident Ugly Girl. I did her on TV. I did her for years, and these women who are horribly unattractive, but they're told they're gorgeous their whole lives by their parents, and then you get confused. They're like, "I'm so hot." I haven't done this in so long, and then you're like, "Are they pretty?" I thought she was horrible looking.
You start believing it,
but she's so confident. I think she's pretty now.
Oh, it's
works. Really incredible.
It works.
It does.
It really does.
So maybe you'll find a really confident, horrible-looking woman, and that'll be good for you.
I don't know. I think that
horrible-looking woman. That's
horrible. I know. You can still say that one though.
I can say what I want. I can't.
You don't
watch
give a shit.
I care, but I can't watch it as a comic. I can't watch everything I say, or else I'm going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Censor and edit every word? I can't do it.
Everything, and then have to put the podcast out 2 months later after you scrap through it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, rainbows are pretty. Like, what am I going to say?
Right.
This is real.
Let them sort it out.
Yeah, let them go to therapy and talk about it. Why they're
about
so
how
triggered.
You triggered them.
Yeah.
About how you triggered them. The whole podcast.
Yep. Every podcast has triggered them, but they keep listening. Yeah. So what do you have going on now? What do you want to promote? Do you have?
I want to promote everything's on my Instagram.
Yeah, John's Instagram is so great. You are putting so much time and effort and love into it, and I want everyone to follow.
I'm doubling up now.
Yeah.
Because the stand-up is going up now. I just got an app. And I edited my first stand-up video, so those are going to start going up.
I can't wait to see that.
Today's the day.
Oh, so tell everyone what the handles are.
He was funny.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Everybody knows how to spell he was funny. Please follow me there. Me and my people had a meeting for a stand-up special, and they told me that they had to give it to someone else because they had some more Instagram followers. That's where we are today.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Unbelievable. So yeah, please follow me. They were like, yeah, you might be the funniest guy who's never had a stand-up special, but we think we gotta go this direction. Unfortunately, that's where the business is now.
Maybe we need to get your stuff to Bill Burr, who helped me because no one would give me a fucking special, which everyone said, what is going on?
So awesome.
Oh, thank you, John.
I was lucky enough to be sitting there.
I know, you're the
real
best.
Time and watch it. I was bubbling.
I
was like a little
you.
kid. I was like a little kid, like, finally.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on this with you because it's your time to shine. Even though I had a comedy special and I performed in a mall this week in front of 20 people.
Right back to
in
reality.
In a side room.
Right
with
back to reality.
Yeah, and I got diarrhea from the chicken fingers. But anyway, so
is your special going to be moved to Netflix?
No, it's on Comedy Central.
No, but I mean, is it going to be moved?
Well, I think that they own it for a couple of years, but I'm working on other ideas and things too, which actually you're a part of. I've discussed about you because I just think you're so brilliant. My goal is to just take it all into my own hands with my management and other people that I love and trust and create it. And that's been working. I don't wait for anyone.
But it's out there now, though. You
Yeah.
shouldn't wait.
No, I'm not. It's on Comedy Central, and it'll move at some point. But there's other stuff that I'm producing and doing because we all have to do that now. Like you're doing on your Instagram. It's
Absolutely.
the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing.
I've got a web series.
Oh, that's all. Is it on the?
It's terrible.
It is.
It's terrible. You got to be honest when these things are terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Or
I've
they
done
can't
some
get better.
shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's called Rideshare. I play an Uber driver, but we're going to revamp it.
Okay.
And it will be really good. But
okay, good.
Yeah.
So don't promote it until then.
no,
'cause it's
definitely not. Definitely not.
Really?
Yeah. Everything's on my Instagram, but I'm going to start doing. I have a film out called One Bedroom. The film is really good, and then I'm working on 2 films right now.
good for you.
Yeah. So we shot the first one. We got that out. 2 of our producers died.
Oh no.
I know. It wasn't even
Suddenly?
It wasn't even a horror movie.
They died on set?
No.
Maybe they died because
One
it
of
was
our-
so bad.
No, the movie.
Oh, not the movie. I thought you meant the web series. Maybe they watched
not
it
the
and
web series
fell
guys.
over.
They're still alive.
Oh, okay.
One of them just texted me right now while we were sitting here. But I'm meeting with them tonight at 7. But the movie, 2 of the producers died. One is cancer.
Oh,
James
no.
Sturman. This is a young guy. He's 39. And one of our producers died of a heart attack.
Are you kidding?
I swear to God, we lost 2 producers. Movie's really good, though.
Well, you'll get more money now if there's not as many producers. So that's.
I'm one of the producers. I don't know. I think the guy who wrote it and directed it will get all the money.
It's split up between the producers. So even if one more dies, you'll get a lot more money. It'll be better for you for your future. If everyone just keeps dying, that's a part of the movie.
But it's a good movie. The movie is good. One Bedroom on iTunes, and hopefully that'll be on Netflix.
Yeah,
soon.
everyone. Yes.
Just go to He Was Funny. It's all that He Was Funny.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love you, and I appreciate you doing this so much.
Honored to be here.
Please follow Jon. He's one of my favorite people, and he is brilliant, and he's always at the Comedy Cellar, and we're there all the time together, and he's an incredible host, and he's an incredible basketball player, and he's an incredible lover. I've heard from a lot of women and men.
No, whoa,
I know.
whoa.
I said it just to get your reaction. You're the
That's how
last
rumors get
person
started.
that would ever have a gay relationship. You're one of the top. Yeah, I mean, you're very secure and comfortable with gay people, but you're just, I could never see you.
I'm so and nor do I understand why anyone would be railing against gay people. Why do you care what someone does when they go, I've never understood that.
Well, the men that care and get freaked out, they get hard at the gym and don't know why. They're confused.
That's it. They got to be nervous about, because I have that just boggles the mind.
I say it all the time. People that are the most secure with it are the most secure with their sexuality. They don't question anything.
Boggles the mind.
And religion has made people insane.
Yeah.
Extreme religion, not religion, extreme.
Yeah.
So, I have friends who've been disowned by their parents. I want to end on that because it's a positive note. I want to end on the fact that a lot of people I know have been disowned by their families. I think that's a good uplifting way to end this podcast. I'm joking around. It's absolutely horrible.
I've had a lot of Jewish women tell me that.
It's true.
Yeah, like, hey, do you know what my grandmother would say if she knew I was doing this? I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Who cares?
Right. This isn't even going to be going on next week. As if I'm going to meet your grandmother. Are you fucking serious?
That is.
I might not even Uber you out of here. We'll see how this goes.
Take it. Yeah, who gives a fuck what your Jewish?
Who gives a fuck
You're
what
not
your
even staying
grandmother
over.
thinks? Exactly.
Yeah, you can't even have an iced tea. I haven't even offered you a drink.
Exactly. I'm going out after this. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. The grandmother would be like, "You're not getting my brooch now because you were with a black man."
Right.
No brooch.
Right. And after that, she turned down the brooch. She'd probably be like, "So how was it?"
Yeah.
So tell me, how was it?
Nana always wanted to be in a relationship, not a relationship, but plowed. Nana wanted to be plowed by a black man, but I will never admit it. Never. Never.
I love you.
I love
Thank
you.
you so much for doing this.
Honored.